What are some of the performances, man, player performances that stand out to you? That you know exactly where you were, what you were doing, what time it is, what day it was, the weather outside, who you were talking with when that certain player performed on that particular game. Like what are some of the performances that actually stand out to you like that, man? Because there are games, right, where you only link that particular game to a certain player. And that performance is so good that even the entire day goes straight to that player. The entire day, remember everything that happened that day because of that particular player. What are those performances? Hello guys, welcome to another episode of WTF. Today, actually, I'm here to wing it. I'm here to wing it. I'm not prepare anything. I'm just sitting and thinking, man. Like I was just thinking about a performance that I'm gonna talk to you about. And then I remember, there are some performances that actually stand out to you that you know when you remember that particular performance, it just owns this. It lives in your memory and you remember everything about that particular day. So I don't know. I want you guys if you can think of a player performance that stand out to you. It doesn't have to be one, doesn't have to be two. It could be as many as you can. Just write them down below, man. I want to see if I can remember as well. Or maybe if you remember the performance that I'm going to list now, which I'm going to think about in the spot, then you can also comment down below. Other than that, let's continue to like, share, and subscribe, man. Anyways, let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. Everyone knows where they were, what they were doing, who they were watching the game with when Zinedine Zidane dropped that performance against Brazil in 2006, right? I remember that very well because I was watching. I think that was one of my first introduction. That was my first World Cup, right? So it was my introduction to European football at that time. So I was watching the Brazil. I had been watching that World Cup obviously leading up to that point, and then my brother was supporting Brazil because of Ronaldinho, Ronaldo, Robinho, all those guys, right? So he was supporting Brazil. Me, my older brother at the time. So me being the younger one, I just wanted to oppose him. And also I liked Zidane. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna support France. I'm gonna support France. France is gonna win. Obviously, we wanted to make things interesting. So he supported Brazil, I supported France. And then Zidane just about to drop that all-time performance, that all-time that everyone speaks about right now. And I was following France the entire tournament. That World Cup because I wanted to oppose my brother because I was talking about Brazil winning the World Cup. So I just supported France because of Zidane, obviously. And I remember that performance from the top of my head. I can never forget that performance. I remember everything. And my brother did not speak to me after that game for a while. He was so mad. And Zinedine Zidane dropped what most people remember as an all-time performance. So, anyways, that's what I'm talking about. If you remember a performance like that, man, I remember that game. It was 2006. It was a World Cup quarterfinals against Brazil. Thierry Henry scored, was assisted by Zidane from a free kick. Total dominant by Zidane. Anyways, so that's what I'm talking about. If you remember a performance like that, then you can just comment down below. One other performance that I remember actually. This one is rock. I don't think many people remember. I was watching this game with my mother, right? It was the World Cup 2014, Netherlands versus Mexico. This is how I remember this performance because I was watching. So we didn't have like a big TV on the sitting room. So my mother had this small TV on her room, man. So I was watching there. She didn't know anything about football. She didn't watch football. So I was watching while she was laying in her bed. Obviously, I'm watching Netherlands versus Mexico. Mexico were leading one. I think Netherlands won that game 2-1. But Robben, something happened to Robben that second half, man. He reached a level of flow state that you don't particularly see in many players right now, man. You could tell that Robben is not gonna lose this game. I think it was the last 16 of World Cup 2014, man. It got to a point that when Mexico were winning 1-0, I didn't know that my mother was watching, but she said, yeah, this bald guy is gonna score, man. Literally, that's what she said. She said, yeah, this bald guy is gonna score. And Robben was flying that second half. He ended up creating a penalty, created a couple of chances, but Netherlands won that game. That was another performance that stand out to me, man. Robben 2014 against Mexico. That was a crazy performance. Another performance that I think stands out for me so everyone probably knows this game, man. In my school, right, in high school, I was the only Arsenal fan. I was the only Arsenal fan in my school in high school. So whenever Arsenal were losing, I would have to hold the smoke Like whenever Arsenal were losing, I would have the whole the smoke. I think even right now, man, I think I don't really meet a lot of Arsenal fans, but anyways, so we had just drawn, we drew against Barcelona 2-2. At the Emirates, right? So obviously, we were supposed to go the holidays after that. I think it was the Easter holidays or something, but we drew against Barcelona in the quarterfinals of Champions League 2-2. So we went to the Easter holidays. Obviously, I told people that you were gonna go through Fabregas's feet. Yeah, I was excited, man. We're flying. Anyways, we went home. We played. Messi scored 4 goals, right? And then we lost one. Messi went nuts. For me, that was the crowning moment of Messi, right? The moment where he moved from the great players to the GOAT level. Like the way he entered the GOAT territory. That was the moment for me when he scored 4 goals against Arsenal. I was watching that game. I remember exactly what I saw. I'm like, yeah, man. Like, what are we supposed to do when a player performs like this? What can you do? Even Arsene Wenger had nothing to say after that game. He said, "Yeah, I mean, we're up against him. Was in a good mood. There's nothing we could have done." And I understood. Anyways, we lost 4 in that game. He scored 4 goals. I remember going back to school, man. So we were using transports going back to school. It was like from my home to school. It was like 1 hour 30 minutes. It was a long distance. Those guys were talking about that game for 1 hour 30 minutes, all the way from my hometown to school. There was nothing to say, and I can't even defend that performance. Anyways, that was a crazy moment, man. One other game that actually stands out to me. What other performance that actually stands out to me? Lewandowski versus Madrid when he scored those 5 goals. I think he scored 4 goals actually. I think he scored 4 goals against Madrid. Actually, the crazy thing is, most people actually thought that Madrid and Barcelona were going to play the final of the Champions League, right? That's what we all wanted. And then Robben destroyed Barcelona the previous day. Robben was crazy. Him and Muller, they went crazy against Barcelona the previous day. And then Lewandowski did the same thing against Madrid. Brilliant performance by Lewandowski, man. I think that was the first time everyone actually knew what he was about. Because he had a good season in that leading up to that game, but that game in particular, that was a brilliant performance, man. What other performance actually stand out to me? Obviously, I think unless he goes on to do great things in football, but that performance by Dogo this season against Liverpool should age so well. That's one of the most like dominant performances by a winger, man. It should age so well, unless obviously he doesn't do anything about his, he doesn't develop well, then maybe people will forget those performances. Let me think about another performance. Okay, of course, Vinicius against Bayern last year. That was a crazy performance. Vinicius against Bayern was it last year or 2 years back? No, it was 2 years back when they won the Champions League, when it destroyed Kimmich, man. Ooh, what a performance! What a performance! He didn't even have a goal or assist that game, man, but he was like by far the man of the match. Oh, Salah versus Roma. That for me, Salah versus Roma, was it 17-18? I think it was 17-18, man, when he scored like 4 goals against Alisson, or scored 3 goals against Alisson. But that for me was another level where I crowned Mo Salah. When a player performs like that, like, yeah, man, like when a player when a player of that caliber moves like that, man, there's nothing you can do. I watched Salah that game. I was like, yeah, man, this is the best player we have to offer in the Premier League. He was so good against Roma, man. He was so. And that time I didn't even know Alisson would become a world-class goalkeeper, but Salah destroyed Roma, man, which was his club, because he didn't even celebrate. He was doing that thing. What are some of the performances, man, that actually stand out to me? That I think, obviously, listen, Ronaldo and Messi have a collection of those. That Messi one, I had to put it in because it was like, it was such a moment in my life where, because I think it was in 2010 actually. It was 2010, that game was 2010. I was still getting into food. You know, when you it's about a team, you watch this team religiously, but you are not into football like we do now. So at that time, I was still getting into it. So that game, man, was one of the games where I felt the heat of losing a game, and obviously it was a crowning moment for me. So that's why it stands out for me. I'm trying to think of games, where I feel like you remember. Of course. Listen, Benzema had a lot of those performances when he won that Champions League for me for Real Madrid 2022. But yeah, guys, man, listen, just comment down below, man, the performances that stand out for you, or if you remember these performances I'm talking about. Actually, these performances, man, I remember everything that was happening in that day. If you remember these performances, oh, you know what? Let me say something before I finish this stream. This recording, actually. You know that's Zidane performance against against Brazil, right? Everyone when they go back to 2006, they go back to that performance. I want to know if you guys watched that World Cup, because honestly, that for me was not Zidane's best performance in that World Cup, because I think he played Spain in the last 16. I remember he played Spain against the last 16. It was a brilliant performance. And then he played Brazil. I think I guess because he did that against Ronaldinho or Ronaldo, so it's rated higher. But in the same mix, he played against Portugal, man. Young Ronaldo, Figo. Zidane was in flow state in that game. He was in flow state. Semi-finals against Portugal. For me, that is his best performance in that World Cup, man. Anyways, yeah, guys, man, just let me know. I was chilling here, and I'm thinking, yo, what are some of the most standard performances that you actually remember from the top of your head, man? Ozil against Ghana. I remember Germany needed to win that game in 2010. Ozil against Ghana was quality. John Terry against USA. John Terry against USA. England were gonna be knocked out of the World Cup. I think it was in 2010 as well. Was it 2010 or 2006? I think it must have been 2010, but John Terry against USA was quality, man. Ronaldinho versus Chelsea in the Champions League. Lampard versus Barcelona in the Champions League. Man. Lampard versus Barcelona in the Champions League. What a performance. And then Ronaldinho. I was still watching Champions League in ETV around those times. Man. Lampard, I remember Lampard scoring that crazy goal against Barcelona. And at that time, I'm not sure if you guys were like me, man, but up until social media, obviously, I used to support English clubs in the Champions League. Up until social media, like I used to support English club in the Champions League. Every time when an English club would play against another club, I would support that club in the Champions League. Up until social media, and then obviously going to social media, and then you see everything that has happened, and then you're like, yo, I better not see any of these teams winning the Champions League. But I remember against Barcelona, I supported Chelsea. I celebrated that Lampard goal. Even in 2012, actually, against Bayern, I was supporting Chelsea to win that Champions League, which one of the worst things I've ever done as a person, man. But yeah, man, I'm Ronaldinho against Chelsea. Listen, Ronaldinho, we're gonna talk about Ronaldinho, man. Ronaldinho, we're gonna talk. That is, for me, one of the most important football figures, man. One of the most important football figures. His influence in this game is ridiculous. And for us who watched, I watched him towards the end of his peak years, but it was ridiculous. We're gonna talk about Ronaldinho for sure. But yeah, guys, man, let me know what were the performances that stand out to you. And those are the ones that I can remember from the top of my head. I did not write anything down. I just came here just to basically say whatever I'm feeling right now. But yeah, man, let's continue to like, share, and subscribe, of course. Comment down below the performances that stand out to you, man. It could be one, it could be two, any performance that stand out to your mind. And then I'm gonna reply, obviously, and then we're gonna talk about it.